Welcome everyone back to the channel, and tomorrow is a very special day for Star Wars fans as is the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. It is coming back in theaters tomorrow, and I'm going to tell you everything you should do to prepare for one of my favorite Star Wars movies coming back in theaters. So the first time that Revenge of the Sith came out was back in 2005, and for me, I was only 5 years old when that movie came out, and honestly, you probably shouldn't take a 5-year-old to this movie, so I understand what my parents did, and it was super awesome when I finally got to watch it. I think I was like 7 or 8, and then, I understand now why a 5-year-old shouldn't have watched that movie, but it took 6 films from George Lucas to really embark the character arc of Anakin Skywalker turning into Darth Vader. And even though you knew what was coming, you knew what episode 4 was bringing, you knew what Anakin had to do in this movie, at the same time though, you didn't want him to do any of this stuff. And that is poetry. That is amazing screenwriting. That is awesome storytelling. And if it wasn't for George Lucas, I don't know if anybody else could have mastered what we got in Revenge of the Sith. It is lore. It is what ifs. It is analyzing emotions, motives, how manipulative Sidious was. Like, how genius was it for Sidious in slowly picking up Anakin's trust, being the father figure that Mace Windu and some of the other Jedi Masters like Obi-Wan were never that kind of father figure to Anakin, but it was always Palpatine. They're just lurking in the shadows, waiting for his opportunity. Anakin had lost all trust in the Jedi Order, and he was the only person that actually cared about him. Sidious was a true genius during the Clone Wars and through Revenge of the Sith and how he manipulated the Jedi, including Anakin. Revenge of the Sith is just one of those movies where you just hoped that Anakin would turn back at some time. When we see him on Mustafar, when we see Padme running to him, and she tells him, Anakin, please come back with me. Help us raise our family together. We thought that there might be a chance that Anakin just leaves Mustafar, leaves Sidious, leaves this title as Darth Vader, and goes to go raise his family. And then Obi-Wan shows up. Something that I always nitpicked about this scene was how Obi-Wan never really took control. Like, when Anakin started force choking Padme, why did Obi-Wan not do anything about it? Which I thought was super strange. Like, he could have easily have force pushed Anakin to the ground. It just seemed like sort of he kind of gave up on Anakin already. And that is something, if I ever get to ask George Lucas, like, why did he have Obi-Wan just walk down Padme's ship and not stop Anakin in any way? I think that would be a very interesting question. And even in their final parts of their duel, when they are locked saber to saber on the lava river, and he is just talking to Anakin and says, like, I have failed you, Anakin. I have failed you. And instead of really like diving deep into like how he failed him, he kind of basically pushed Anakin away even more by telling him how lost he was, how manipulative Sidious had become to him to join this evil that he swore to destroy. That is just something that's many fan fictions have been made. Like, what if Anakin and Obi-Wan actually stopped fighting there? What if Obi-Wan actually did kind of go in more depth of how the Jedi failed him? How Obi-Wan wasn't the father figure that Anakin needed. He was more like a brother. Then we get the climactic high ground, and then Obi-Wan slicing off Anakin's limbs to lead him to getting burned. Like, what if Anakin never got burned and still had most of his Force abilities? It just, Revenge of the Sith is one of those movies where you can make 10 to 20 what if scenarios. And that is why I think it's so amazing that so many Star Wars fans are going to see this movie in theaters again for the 20th anniversary, because you need to see this on the big screen, even though you know what's going to happen. Just like in The Last of Us, no spoilers, but if you've played the game of part 2, you knew what was going to happen to Joel. And even though you didn't want it to happen, you knew based on how well they've written these characters that it inevitably was going to happen. And that is the art of great storytelling and progression and leading the fans to know, like, you don't want this to happen, but you have to eventually accept it. And that is the art of great storytelling. And that is what George Lucas did with the first 6 films. So let me know in the comments down below, are you planning on going to watch this in theaters? I highly encourage it. If you are going to watch this in theaters, I have 2 suggestions for you. You either watch Attack of the Clones tonight to get you prepared for Revenge of the Sith, or what I am going to do is watch the last 4 episodes of the Clone Wars. Say all what you want about how Disney has really ruined many of the projects, because I agree with you on that statement. But what they did in the Clone Wars arc, perfect. I could not have thought anything else than those last 4 episodes and how it slowly progressed to what we see in Revenge of the Sith. That is what I'm going to be doing tonight, and I hope you guys have a great time watching this movie in theaters. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you all in the next one.